What's up, y'all? I'm here to invite y'all to our 5th annual Community Day of Prayer right here in the city of Niagara Falls on Saturday, June 7th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be at Gluck Park located at 1550 Weston Avenue. We got free food, hot dogs, hamburgers, drinks. We are also having a food drive this year. We're going to switch it up a little bit and try to provide back to our community. So we are seeking donations to help with our food drive. So if you have any non-perishables that you want to donate, you can contact me at 716-255-3454 and we can make arrangements to get that in. I pray to see everyone out there. We're trying to get some basketball games going. It's going to be a good time. Come out and fellowship with our community.
Greetings and salutations. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever this may find you in the world, in the universe. You are locked into Just Conversations, your boy, Big Frank, and I have a special guest with me, my friend, my beloved homie. I was say Jennifer Block, I don't know what to say, but Kiera Agee, how you living?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. What's happening in your world?
Really nothing, honestly. I just graduated. I just graduated. I'm just happy to be done with school. Excited about the event this weekend. Yes. 5th annual day of prayer.
Come on. So you are the owner and the founder? Let's talk about it.
The coordinator. Yes. It's really God this year. This year is not me. It's really God. God put together all the pieces, and I got a lot of donations. We got a lot of free items to give away, household items, toiletries, food, whatever you may need.
People doing hair too, right?
People doing hair.
That's crazy.
And honestly, all these people volunteered their time. They reached out to me like, hey, I have this service. I want to do it. Can I do it? Absolutely. So I thank him,
And this is your 5th year doing it.
5th year. Yeah. That's crazy.
When you were given the unction by God to do it initially, how did that feel?
A lot of pressure because he gave it to me in bits and pieces, and I remember just writing it down.
Yeah.
I remember somebody told me just write down everything that he gives you.
Yeah.
And by the time that I looked at it, I was like, I have a whole plan here. Mm-hmm. I just don't know where to support or how I'm gonna do it. And then once I started attending Word of Life and I presented it to Bishop Scott, he was like, let's do it. Wow. And we've been doing it ever since. Let's go. I thank God for that.
And I want to just commend you because you've been doing it for this is your 5th year now, but there's been challenges, there's been opposition, but you persevered through it by the grace of God.
Yes.
If you had a moment to just encourage somebody who has a vision or a dream, what would be your words of encouragement for them?
My word would be, I just learned this word. Yeah. It's crazy. Stickability.
Stickability.
It means to persevere with God. Mm-hmm. And I would just say do that because everything that the pressure, even though he brings the pressure, at the end of it, it's all good.
That lady. So when she said the word stickability, I was like, I heard that word.
The lady. I instantly got on my phone when she said it, and I was like, because I really didn't even think it was a real word. Yeah. It's a real word in the dictionary, and that's what it means. Right. I was like, okay, you wanted something? Okay.
I was like, not stickability.
I was like, that's not a word. I had to look it up. So I would say that it's all good at the end of it.
And I commend you just for your perseverance to make that happen. And I encourage you guys to make sure you attend that event. Is happening this Saturday
at
Gluck Park.
And don't let the fact that it's at Gluck Park steer you away. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and be who I am. If you got beef with Gluck Park, that is a petty situation. I'm going to tell you why, because there's a basketball court, there is a playground, there is a gazebo, and there are 4 churches on every corner. Keep count. There's churches all around. I think that your mission to be accessible to the community is proper and valid. And I say that sincerely because I was just talking, we are in a place of transition for our church. We're looking at some new locations, but we just said we don't want to be so far out that the people can't get to us. We want to be able to be like, oh, I walked by and I saw. So as much as I think Gluck Park is a great location. You pass by it's accessible from all fronts, and I think that's just very wise. So anybody who got concerns,
so many people have asked me why I chose Gluck Park. And if you're watching this, please don't feel any type of way because you're not the only one that asked me. But how can we hit the outside of the city but not hit the inside of the city? Absolutely. The inside of the city is the most important part of the city. Without the inside of the city, how is this city operating?
Yeah, for sure. Now you get into a situation.
And I am because as I go to Gluck Park, I've been going there probably every day this past week, just filling it out. And I look at the playground. I look at all the other playgrounds. Right. I have a favorite playground. My favorite playground is in Duval. Why is my favorite playground in Duval? Because it's nice, it's big, it's got the mats at the bottom, no wood chips, no nothing. This park at Gluck Park, what does it have? Yeah. It hasn't been updated. I don't know how long for sure, but it has to be years because the slides are so far from the ground. Yeah. Like, it's not even, everything is sunken in. And Gill Creek just got an upgrade. They ripped up the mat and put wood chips. So that didn't make sense to me. Yeah. But why can't every park look the same?
Yeah. I think when you start talking to that, now you're talking about investment, you're talking about time, you're talking about care and concern, and unfortunately, and I'll say this, and I don't want to bring you into my political drama, but when you don't have a desire or true impact for the city in its totality, you neglect these areas because Lake Sale can have a beautiful park and be revitalized.
You got a new park too.
Right. DeVoe can look a certain kind of way, and ours require upkeep. And I may even be gracious enough to tell you that it may need more upkeep than others. But come
But it's also smaller than others. There's like, give them something to do. Even when they go to that playground, it's like, well, I get to go down the slide. Thanks. Right. Like,
What is swing at?
There's only 3 swings, but there's 4, but one is missing. So we don't really know where that 4th swing is. And then you gotta figure 2 of the swings are baby swings, so that's not even a lot. And all the big kids, like, it's just
So there's a need to do better, but I think that what you're providing right now is in the heart of the city, literally.
It's our first time there too, so I'm excited to see what the Lord does on that corner. At that block, that's a block.
And do well and rock out. I want to get into a conversation that may be a little bit more heavier on your spirit, and you brought this up actually at a previous location. But what do you think what is your opinion of the current churches in Niagara Falls specifically in their functions when it comes down to community involvement and what's going on?
So I don't know a lot about other churches. Yes. So I am guilty in that area. I do see them host different things. Like, for example, can I say their names?
You can say it.
Oh, I see St. John's host a lot of different activities, young, old, everything. Yes. Pastor Walker, Mount Sinai.
Yes.
They host a lot of different, like, movie nights. They do a lot of different things. I do see that. But that's kind of really only thing I can tell you I see.
Yes.
I see that because of social media, obviously. But I think that the church isn't doing enough. Yes. I think that we should be outside more. Yeah. Because I feel like the community is looking to us. Yeah. I feel like not always when it's negative, but I feel like they're looking for us for answers on what to do next. No. Like, with you being outside in the streets, giving us these updates every day, that's you being out there, being present, you know? Yeah. And it's not always about giving to them, but giving them information too. Like, Sunday morning, update us on the politics. We have announcements. Like, like, and I watch these other, part of my class, we had to watch other only Baptist church service we watched. But they did these announcements, like what you call it, like a preview before the actual word comes on. And they did these, like, local announcements, announcing everything. Like, things you wouldn't even think would make the announcements. It was like watching the news for the church. Oh, wow. Literally. Like, and I'm like, why aren't we doing that?
Yeah. And because I say this all the time, even when it comes down to council meetings, I said, even if your church, if you can send 1 or 2 representatives
every other week,
not only to just receive what's happening in the city, but to bring the concerns of your practitioners and those who are attending your services, because you're serving the people. What are their concerns? And if we did that, that'd be a baseline of 30 to 40 people attending City Hall, and 20 of those people speaking on the concerns of the people. But if we are not,
And it would let the city know that we're
right,
serious about the
absolutely,
change that we want for our
absolutely,
community.
and then we find out what it takes to yield that, and I say this too, it then holds the politicians who represent us accountable. Because if
Absolutely.
you decide to say, no, we're not going to change it, document it, heard. So don't come to our churches
And be like, hey,
talking about,
what's
hey, I
going
want to talk to
on?
you doing vote
Yeah,
time.
no.
I talked to one politician today. I told him, I might have shook him up this morning, but I was like, yo, I ain't seen you. I don't know what you're doing, for real, for real. Probably the 3 events, but my thing is, I think that the church has more power than it is using. And this is what I say all the time. I say, if you want your church to be well, the people have to be well. But for the people to be well, they have to live well. That's financially, that's opportunities, but then
resources, that all comes from the community.
But that comes from the community. What affects the community is that these politicians and the decisions we make, and then even if they say no, now I'm gonna talk about it for real. We should be a unit of the body of Christ, being able to execute a thing. For the Bible talks about the government should rest upon his shoulders. Probably was somebody preaching, but what happens is we've gotten scary. Yeah. We've gotten scared of people's opinions and ideas,
because now they're saying we can't mix church and state.
And I said, this is what
we talked about this already. They're literally saying don't mix church and politics, but everything that I've learned about Martin Luther King and all these politics was they used the church. They used, if I'm not mistaken, Martin Luther King had so much peace because he had the church. That's why he wasn't violent, why he wasn't going off and doing things out of order. The church was the meeting place.
Yeah.
The church was the hosting place. And it wasn't all of them. All the church didn't participate, but they had enough that they had that support and was able to keep going.
Valid. Part of my typing, I went to go. I'm searching something. Because what I said to Kiera was that. So I'm gonna read it. The concept of separating church and state is the United States and mostly associated with Thomas Jefferson. He famously used the phrase a wall separation between the church and the state in 1802. It ain't biblical. I just, long story short,
that's what you want to do.
That's all I'm saying. I just want to know who made the statement and how did it become alive. And I get that there is opportunities that we can benefit from with the separation of church and state. But the truth of the matter is, the Lord says, and the government shall rest upon his shoulders. Absolutely. In other words,
and the Lord got involved. The Lord got involved
Absolutely.
With the people who was oppressed. He was right in the midst of it.
Absolutely.
He literally let them know, like, I'm here with you,
Valid.
and I'm gonna lead you to victory. Like, so why aren't we doing the same thing? God protects us, right?
He does, and I think there is a level of exhaustion for some, fear for others. But my thing is, at this point, if there's the Bible says this, I call the young because they're strong, I call the old because they know the way. Mm-hmm. And sometimes your wisdom and knowledge is required, but let that person that is young, fiery, let them go and do what they've been commissioned to do. And don't put a muzzle, don't silence them, don't hold them back because they've been called to be aggressive. The Bible, pardon me, the Bible says this whenever you're watching it, but the Bible, we are the violent. I'm going to say it again. The church is the violence. We are the force, but we act so timid and so fake humble, and so we don't want to offend nobody.
But somebody's gonna be offended no matter
what.
No matter what.
All right, I'm snitching now. Yeah. I ain't calling her name out. Well, somebody asked me the statement was like to me. She was like, "Hey brother," and he's watching. Sis, I love you. She was like, "Hey brother, what about the lost souls?" I was like, what about them? They're lost. I said, they're going to find offense if they want to be offended. Mm-hmm. I just said this recently to one of my elders, who apologized on behalf of the church on Pride Day, and says, I love you. And I was just like, yo, listen, at this point, all I can do is show you love. My character, my behavior, who I am and what I do, expresses love to you. But somebody found offense in her post. You want to be offended.
Yeah, you
want to be offended. Like, and matter of fact, you're triggering something that's like me. There are people who just want to be offended. Literally. And
Even saved people too.
No,
so it's not just the lost people. So it's like too.
So I think right now that I believe that God is raising up individuals to get back on the bandwagon. Now here I go. Here I go. I was on ChatGPT. I said it, but Chat made it organized. I'm gonna tell you this concept that I wrote it. I told Chat to spice it up a little bit. It's called the ambush of Black excellence. I'm gonna take the black out when I post it. But this is what it says. It says, they yelled, they screamed. The elders and the ancestors lifted up their voices to heavens, declaring change is coming. But change did not appear, not at first. It looked delayed, but held back by the weight of life and the clashes of personalities and the burdens of diverse struggles. Yet, we didn't realize it was grace orchestrating something greater. See, grace doesn't always show up loud. It waits. And when you least expect it, boom, is an ambush of change, a divine disruption, birthed through the vessel that nobody saw coming. This is how we move. This is how we rise. With power, with purpose, flowing through our veins like prophecy fulfilled. Change was on the way. It just took a long route so it could show up undeniable. And I think that where we are right now, the people that we may deem to be out of the blue, out of nowhere, are being commissioned to rise up to continue the elements of change that let me just be this person, the forefathers that we've been sent to do, because the work that's being done ain't new work, but it's required work for our time. And I think that, I'm gonna just say this, the church has taken a seat
to it.
That's you're not at the table. Yeah. You're not in the mission.
And I'm not to cut you off, but I had a professor who literally told us, like, our generation is the generation that's going to be the generation to fight, because our ancestors, I mean, not that our ancestors are still living, but they're tired. And that's okay. We just need the knowledge that y'all have to help us go forward. Absolutely. Like, that's all we're looking for is support.
That and your retirement fund. Absolutely. that too. No doubt. But no, and that's real. But I think that this generation
it's stronger.
It's not only stronger, it has a short attention span now I'm going to say this, for anything. Now, that seems like a negative at first, but understand that we're not going to tolerate your mess.
Exactly.
We're not going to tolerate disrespect, dishonor, and foul play, which now means we're going to do what's required a whole lot quicker to get it done. And sometimes we're not going to play the quiet game. Or if you put the
we're not gonna do it the way y'all like to, that y'all would like us to do, but it's gonna get done. Right. That's it.
And it's gonna come from people that you may seem to be unfit or not them.
The person you least expect.
Absolutely.
It's always the one you least expect.
Absolutely. And I think that the church needs to awaken. I think that
I think you should go in, church hop, and talk to churches.
I'm on a ministerial council, and
are you?
Yeah, and they do their ministerial council events. And I'm gonna send them an email soon about a proposal that I have. But there has to be a greater mission for community, for each individual church that works collectively. And I say that because...
But there's no collective. That's the problem. There's no collectivity. Literally, there's no... When do all of the churches get together and say, let's do this?
Because everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants their name to be highlighted. Yeah. This is what we say. Oh, it ain't got to be my church. It ain't got to be me. But then when it ain't you, y'all start talking behind our backs. And that discord or those challenges...
And I'm blessed because a lot of pastors do come out to the day of prayer and pray, and I'm really grateful to see all the different pastors. But I just don't think that's enough, because even the day of prayer, that's only one day.
It's only one day.
One day out of the year. We still got the whole summer. We still have all year, all winter. And I know churches provide services. Some of them we got food pantries. Yeah. We do have like youth programs and stuff, but we got to get to the people. And it's about being outside. People are not always comfortable coming to the church.
And that's real.
You could be standing on the corner of the church and they still not going to come just because you're in front of the church.
And I also think, though, that you need to offer services that are outside of Bible study and Sunday morning. So, like, the idea, y'all can steal it if y'all want to, that I have is making these churches who have space community hubs. Like, I need you to be accessible, not just to the youth and adults, but even the elders. Like, are you providing resources that they can use and develop to be prepared for what's happening, because the city of Niagara Falls are not preparing the youth and young adults for a future that is coming in technology and advancement. The students that's inside the Stanford classroom, which is more like about science information, are very cautious in its attendance, allegedly. But then it's limited. And then we don't have, I'm not seeing a space where our children, youth, young adults, entrepreneurs
have to go.
Have to go. There is connections. There is the resource center. There is Boys and Girls Club in Parker Court. But we have the ratio of what's available
to the number of kids. It's not fair.
It's not fair.
Once those fill up, then where they go? Where are these kids going? They sitting at home doing nothing. And it's like, even at Word of Life, we do offer the teen conference, and we do have like a new program that they started where it's an educational program. I really can't think of the name of it, but it's offered like during break, and it's going to be offered during summer break. Yeah. And it's nice, but again, it's only for a small time. What about, I remember when all the churches did VBS. Y'all did it one week, we did it another week. Because we went to them, we was going to them. Why can't we do something like that where we all come together? But then again, like you said, where's the space? Like we don't have the space. Yeah,
your church alone can't service all of
the kids.
But if all my churches opened up and had a schedule, hey, listen, we're open additionally Wednesday, Thursday, and these are the services that we offer: tutoring, technology, I need you to
just some resources, hospital, doctors. It's a lot going on that these people need that we don't even know. That we don't even know. People need simple things like healthcare. What about the doctors that's leaving? Have you seen the number of doctors that's leaving and going other places?
I got a doctor that leave every 6 months.
The kids' doctors leave every 6 months.
I'm like, it's a new doctor. Somebody asked me one time, who your doctor?
I don't know.
I'm gonna just tell you, this is my doctor because this is the only person that's been around. But even she done left 4 times. I said, but valid. But I think that we have and I'll say this, and the young people in general, are looking for, as you said, answers and help and direction. But legit, you have, before you get them to the altar, can you get them in the door? Can you meet them where they are? They need somebody to holler at me. And even with people's knowledge of the church, the white man religion, and all this, they are still open to, I need somebody to give me some guidance.
Because they still confused.
Yeah.
Like, we all know it all, allegedly, when we out there living our life. We know we knew it all, but we still needed somebody to show us something. And once we got a taste of it, we just didn't let it go. Yeah. So that's
and I think the church has to be spiritually in tune to and culturally sensitive, because when I say culturally sensitive, I mean as far as understanding, not necessarily coddling to it. Because I went to a homegoing service and I heard the Lord, and we prayed for a young man. He was like, yo, what you prayed, I was just talking to God about. Yes, I was just talking to him about. And I said, and it's just like, you can't move off of assumptions and thinking You have to move on what God is saying and those things. And I want you to be honest, our churches are suffering because they have, I'm going to just say this, some people have this dogmatic approach, I'm not open to the new, then nobody wants to come and stay. So then all your members are elderly and older.
Yeah, because when we was at that thing the other day, I was looking around like,
and not only looking around, but it's like you ain't even allowing space for the nuance of what needs to be. And I'm not even sure the individual is even prepared if given the opportunity.
I don't think they are.
So I know you're like, we're talking about all kinds of things. Because I think that I just believe that religious institutions have a greater role to play in the community of Niagara Falls, New York, because
and teaching us. They're not teaching us enough. I'm learning too much on my own that I didn't know, that I feel like I should have learned interest. And I don't hold it against anybody, but I want to know. And if I want to know, I know other people want to know.
Teach me how to live well and to live better, but teach me and inform me how things work. If you don't know, bring somebody in. And I'm not the word is valid, the word is solid, but the word even declares that there's other books other than this. But it's like, I need you to get the people informed. But if you don't present me the opportunity to learn it or to develop it, you don't even know if I like it or if I want to expand or explore it. So I think that the church, and I say the church overall, not just Black church, church as in general, really need to empower the people and provide them the resources and be a resource to help them advance. I'm not saying you gotta be a cash cow for them, but like, hey, offer services to them that they need and that they want. So I know this conversation be like, y'all is going off on the church, but
we love the church.
We love the church, but we understand that God is commissioning us to a greater call. Absolutely. And Kiera is one of those missions is the Community Day of Prayer, which is the 5th year. And this Saturday on June 7th, starting at 12 o'clock, she'll be there. They do haircuts, food, fun times, prayer. But it's a mission to impact the community and the heart. And this is only, one event, and people come out, collaborate, yell and scream. No shot to the event, it's not like that. But after that, there's something called aftercare. Like,
where's the follow through?
Where's the follow through? No, that's real. Yeah, that's real. Where's the follow through? So I'll make a suggestion. I'm not sure you have this already. Do you have follow up cards that if somebody came?
I think I might have some. I can hand out.
Yeah, and just be like, hey, just fill this out and put your name in the box just on the strength of we can reach out to you at a later date to see. Because the people need that. The Lord says, feed my lambs, feed my sheep. But people need that compassion, need that love, they need that drive, they need that that touch. They need it. And it's like, if not, I can get called.
Because we give it to them on Sunday, so we can give it to them in the park.
Yeah, because I can be all Jesus today and then be tempted tomorrow and be like, nah, do you love me? Right? Are you okay? Because this journey is real. I told the young man, I said, yo, some of your problem is you thinking too far ahead. Just take today.
That's my problem, because I'll be like, Lord, what? I don't see, where's the light?
Too far ahead.
Just look right now.
I feed the birds every day. I take care of them. I'm take care of you. Just thank you for today. Literally, like, don't worry about tomorrow. Be anxious for nothing. Like, do it and be obedient in the moment.
Listen, obedience is uncomfortable. I literally just made that.
Yes, you did. Yes.
It's uncomfortable, and I'm not saying that nobody teaches us, because we do learn.
Yes.
And I thank God for my pastor. But some of this stuff, like, is hard, man. And it's like.
Who ever told you that dying was easy?
Nobody. Right. Like, and I'm just like, I think it's more of the consistent enduring. Like, you think you get out of the valley. Yeah. And I heard somebody say, like, once you get over one mountain, there's a higher one or something like that. And I'm like, that is a good revelation, because that makes sense. I've never heard it explained that way. And I think sometimes we'd be like, all right, God, we doing this. Like, for example, God, I'm going to school. You told me to go to school. I'm doing it. I did it. I'm done. I can relax. Like, no, you got to keep going. Yeah. Like, but I want to go over here, to be honest with you. And you telling me, no, I can't. Like, you're making it real uncomfortable. And I think sometimes it's not really broken down like that.
Yeah, and because obedience sets you up for, we say this all the time, eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, neither has entered the heart of men the things that God has prepared for you. If that's the case, whatever I'm telling you to do now is in preparation for something you haven't even thought of. Yeah. Which means, and I talked to my recently, I said, well, you think you're going to school to have your license and get these things, and you think you better go to Maryland. God has a mission for you that, what if your schooling is just to educate you, and you never get...
Dude, I thought about that today. You never go to a job for it. What if it's just for your own knowledge?
For your own knowledge, for your own equipping, for your own building, for you to understand the culture, understand the people. What if I've prepared you for something, because the assignment that I have over your life is getting ready to catapult you to places that you need to know how to navigate well, and to do that you had to go to school for it. But I had to put this in your spirit, that this might be the option that you'll go there, but I'm preparing you for something that you haven't even considered. Like...
See? That's crazy. That's opposite of what I'm thinking. So that's what I'm saying.
But you say you want to please me. You say you want these things to happen. Okay, then trust me. And for some people, it is just education. For other people, it's education without no documentation. What do you mean, Frank? In other words, it is live action go through. It is classes, courses, books, reading, and you may never go to school for a doctorate. You may never go to school with credentials, but you've been led by the Lord to do your due diligence so that you're prepared for what I'm getting ready to do. Because how can you inject? I'm probably prophesying that one. How can you inject faith, hope, and love if you're not prepared with the resistance that comes?
True.
Because there's trauma, there's issues, there's mental health, there's social challenges, there's church challenges, there's politics, there's all these components. And while you're trying to inject love and hope and these things, if you're not prepared for these challenges,
then I will crumble.
You will crumble. Like, oh no, I know what this is. This is just anxiety. This is depression. You're not really doing that to me. Because I prepared you for that. And I think that sometimes you have to figure that God is preparing. I had a young lady speak today. Like, she's been in doing beauty work. God told her to go to school for nursing. And she's like, God, I'm trying to get out of beauty because I have to do nursing. But then she keeps getting the suggestion of doing a nurse spa. I said, but it keeps coming to her. I said, beautician work, and then hit the unction to go to. Now this would be crazy. What if the unction to go to school was never for you to become the nurse?
Right. Just for you
to get certified that you're able to create this space.
That's crazy.
And somebody was like, prophesied to her. She watching. She probably not watching. Never watch me. It was like, the Lord is saying that literally you're gonna pull women out the mud. And I was like, what if it's literally you pulling women out of the mud? Like literally. Now this is me being deep. Literally, this spa moment, this mud bath, is symbolic of a detox for you, both naturally and spiritually, and it represents me telling you I'm literally pulling you out of what you've been sitting in. But I'm doing this as a nurse and as a spa, but with a supernatural.
I'm just expanding that.
Right. Listen, I ain't even jumping through like that, but it just shows that God has a mission that is beyond our comprehension.
Absolutely.
But we have to obey what He said and walk through the doors. And I'm going to say this, and not be afraid. Not be afraid even if it's the wrong door.
Because He's not going to lead us.
The steps of a good man are
ordered.
ordered by the Lord.
Yeah.
We get in trouble when we start second guessing and doubting and shaking like backhand deals.
There's no time for that.
Yeah,
no time
for that. So I ain't going to hold you no more.
We gotta go forward.
But you gotta go forward.
It's not watching everything you did. I wish the whole church was in City Hall.
Yeah.
Literally,
it was crazy. I was supposed to be quiet. I was quiet. I was not feeling the best, and I was like, I'm gonna be calm. Now I had a little situation. At first I was like, okay, I'm gonna turn this whole podium around because mind you, it wasn't just the people. I did do that. And I was like, I was gonna be calm. So I said, no disrespect to the council, no disrespect to them. Talk to the people. And then when Mr. Perry, who was just his own challenge.
It's okay.
Yielded that, it provoked that level of aggression.
But it was a good display of positive aggression.
Yeah.
It wasn't violent.
Yes.
It wasn't disrespectful.
No.
I mean, it might have been a little disrespectful. But it wasn't in a way like, it was still...
Yeah, and I told you, I didn't even hear him say the meeting was adjourned. I was still talking. I didn't hear him say that. But listen, I want you guys to make sure you show up to the event. Saturday, June 7th, 12 p.m., Gluck Park. Show support, come, fellowship, pray, dance, have a great time in the Lord. Really pull up, fellowship, meet somebody, meet some people.
There's going to be a lot of people out there. Come in, just mingle. Just fellowship with your community. Just be one, be positive. We got a lot of good stuff in store. Absolutely. And come support the kids.
Yes.
The kids, a lot of children's choirs are singing, so come out and support the kids.
Sure. Listen, I thank you for your time. I thank you for your energy.
Thank you. It's nice to link up again, and being behind the camera.
Absolutely.
What's up, y'all? I'm here to invite y'all to our 5th annual Community Day of Prayer right here in the city of Niagara Falls on Saturday, June 7th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be at Gluck Park, located at 1550 Weston Avenue. We got free food, hot dogs, hamburgers, drinks. We are also having a food drive this year. We're going to switch it up a little bit and try to provide back to our community. So we are seeking donations to help with our food drive. So if you have any non-perishables that you want to donate, you can contact me at 716-255-3454 and we can make arrangements to get that in. I pray to see everyone out there. We're trying to get some basketball games going. It's going to be a good time. Come out and fellowship with our community.